Originally, I tried to read my sample essay to you, but that made it too long to fit on YouTube. So I need you to open the sample essay that I'm posting for you in Blackboard and read through it before we continue with this activity. Now it's time to make a reverse outline. Now a reverse outline is simply labeling each paragraph by deciding what the main idea is. Now we could use insert comments here, but for the sake of doing this as quickly as possible, I'm just going to label them at the end of the paragraphs in all caps. So the first paragraph is the intro. Sorry. And what she does in the intro is she focuses on the real consequences of divorce. Okay? So just 1, 2, 3 words, not a sentence, not a lot. The second paragraph, she focuses on poverty, or in other words, the financial consequences specifically. The third paragraph, she focuses on happiness. Are the kids happy? Are they unhappy? Or in other words, the emotional stability. Then she talks about the mental problems, the possibility that they'll be not only depressed, but that they will blame themselves and any other mental problems. And then we have the conclusion, and she really just uses her conclusion for reminders about what she's already talked about. Now we need to find the thesis statement and highlight it pink. The thesis is supposed to be the last sentence of the first paragraph, so hopefully it is. It says divorce has a negative effect on children financially, mentally, and emotionally. Therefore, it is not appropriate for any family. I do think that that is what she talked about throughout her essay, so that would be the thesis statement. Now we need to find the topic sentences and highlight those blue. Now the topic sentences should resemble the reverse outline, so we should find a sentence that has something to do with poverty or financial consequences. Her first sentence is a quote, and a quote is not a topic sentence. The next one though, one-parent families have less income coming in, which makes it harder for the parent to pay just basics like bills, car payment. Now she goes on into an example at the same time, but yes, that would be her topic sentence. Now the next paragraph is emotional stability. Most people would think if parents are unhappy, kids are also unhappy, but that is not true. That is what she focused on and proved throughout her paragraph. The last one should be about mental consequence. Divorce on kids causes many mental problems and affects their emotional stability. There we go. Whoops. Okay, so there we have our topic sentences. Now we need to find our evidence. Now this may not be a word that you're used to using when talking about your essays, but the evidence is anything that proves your point. In other words, if you went to a court of law, they would call in some expert witnesses to talk about some things. Well, she used expert witnesses, such as Dan Quayle. So here, where we have a quote, this quote is our evidence. Okay, so we're going to highlight our evidence purple. See if she has any other evidence. Here's some more evidence from our witness, Dan Quayle. Here we have a second expert witness giving us a little more evidence. And another one here. And I tend to miss the first letter. Okay. Oh, this one doesn't seem to have any evidence. Is there anything that's just not cited? This paragraph has a lot of claims, but no actual evidence. So I think all the evidence is highlighted now in purple. Now we're looking for background, and we want to highlight the background yellow. The introduction should typically have some background. Background is anything that gives us some previous information that helps us to understand what's about to be presented. So this example of this big old number of how much money is spent, that's all background. Let's see, all the way to there. Now the question is just a question, it's not background. And this is a claim that this is what should happen. Let's see. Okay. Okay, most people or most parents worry about this particular type of behavior. This is background to help us understand why this quote matters. Okay. Okay, and this is a lot of claims. Alright, so I think that's the main background, but if toward the end we start to realize that there was some more that could fit in this category, we can always go back and highlight that too. Now the discussion of evidence is extremely important. If you remember talking about Bloom's taxonomy, that we need to have some analysis and synthesis in our essays, well, the way that we get that in there is by discussing and explaining the evidence that we use. So we not only make claims and support them with evidence, but we have to explain that evidence. No evidence is one-sided. It can be twisted to benefit the opposite side as well. So if we don't explain our evidence, it's not really playing on our side. So we want to highlight the evidence green, and we really want to make sure it's there. Now, here we have some evidence, and this was actually where our topic sentence was. This is not a very good order. So right here immediately we see something that needs to be improved in this paper. If you get your paper back and see something like this, that your topic sentence comes right after some evidence instead of having discussion of that, then you know you need to fix something. Now maybe this is actually discussion and we didn't have a topic sentence. So among families headed by married, this percentage of families that are in poverty today, one-parent families have less income coming in, which makes it harder. Maybe she meant that to actually be the discussion and not the topic sentence. So we need to remember that this paragraph has no topic sentence. In fact, let's come down and make that note for them. Okay, that way she'll remember to fix that before she turns it in for a final grade. Let's see, then there's the extra stuff like school supplies. So I think that's still part of the discussion of that quote. So let's put it in green too. Okay, the kids are limited on money. Yep, that's still part of the discussion. Good. Okay, now we have some more evidence, and then it's the end of the paragraph. So the last evidence has no discussion. Every quote needs to be discussed. No quote is self-explanatory. I don't care how simple it sounds. Okay, now here again we have some evidence. The next thing we have is some background for the next evidence. We don't really have any discussion. So the first quote has no discussion. Okay, then we have some background leading into it. Does this one have? They do not care if mom and dad sleep in different beds as long as the family's together. All kids want is their family to be together like a normal family. All right, that's what she meant to be the discussion. Of course, I think she could have gone a little bit more in depth with this. She could have used a little more analysis and synthesis and put some more thoughts together, but at least obviously she tried to discuss that quote. Okay, now we have a topic sentence and we have no evidence in this. We have claims and claims. Children and teenagers feel sad, lonely, and even stressed about their parents' divorce. Says who? These kids may also become insecure and afraid of things that will come in their own future, which could cause them to become depressed about other things. How do I know that's true? For children, divorce will cause worry that it is all their fault or that their parents will abandon them. I don't know that. They may also feel rejected by the parent that left. Is this just from a TV sitcom or what? I don't have any evidence. So no evidence or discussion, only claims. So this is a major paragraph. Now remember, when we were reading through this, it sounded fine. Just the fact that it can flow, that it sounds coherent, that's not all there is to this. We got to make sure that every component is in every part. So because we've done this now, of course the conclusion doesn't need to have any evidence of its own, so we won't worry about that. But now this student can get this back and say, okay, I'm going to look exactly at what's highlighted, and it's very visual now. It should be somewhat balanced. I should be able to find a topic sentence, some evidence, or actually a topic sentence, some background, some evidence, and some discussion of every evidence in each paragraph. Now I can look at this and see that this second paragraph only has 2 colors. So I'm missing 2 things. I don't have any background that I'm leading into my quotes with, and I don't have any topic sentence at all. So I need to improve, so she needs to improve this paragraph. Now my third paragraph, so second body paragraph, this one does have 4. Is it all put together quite right though? Because I have a topic sentence, and it's the first sentence, good. I don't have any background leading into that first one. Now background would be great to explain where this quote is coming from, explain the context of the article, explain something about the author, something to make me really think that this is credible and not just something you're dropping in out of nowhere. Because I can see the name Matheson at the end, but who is that and why should I care? So you can give me some background to establish some credibility. The second source does have some background, and it has at least some attempt to discuss it, but I could do a lot better at discussing that. So I have a lot I can work on now in this paragraph. Now this third one, oh no, only 1 color. I'm missing 3 components. I have all of this stuff, and this stuff could be turned into analysis. It's stuff I need evidence for. I can use this, but I have to use it in a better way. I've got to find some evidence to go along with this. So this is very unfinished. So now that you have this visual representation of your essay, you should have a really good idea of what you need to work on hard before you turn it in for a final grade.